Here's our host, Rich Marotta.
On this show, something special. James Lights Out Toney, one of the most popular, intriguing, skilled, and never at a loss for words fighters of our generation, going up against Jason Robinson in Temecula, California. Now, there was a lot at stake. A title shot against cruiserweight champion Vasily Zhirov was awaiting the winner of the bout. Toney already had put together an amazing career, having won the middleweight and super middleweight titles. After fading from sight for a while, Toney was coming on strong again at a higher, more comfortable weight and had won 10 in a row. But he needed a win over a top 10 ranked fighter to secure another title opportunity. And Jason Robinson fit the bill. Let's go back to March 18th, 2002 for Toney against Robinson. We go ringside where I was joined by Barry Tompkins and Sean O'Grady.
Toney just a bigger guy, despite the fact that there is not that much weight difference between them. But if you just look at the body size structure of these two. I would think Robinson's game is going to be to stick and move and make Toney chase him.
Arnie Rosenthal, his manager, calls him the most disciplined fighter I've ever been around in my career. So he'll need to stick to a game plan here against Toney. He not only is just an excellent fighter with a fighter's mentality, but really knows a lot of tricks, really knows what to do in that ring, knows how to set a trap for an opponent, knows how to turn his body, knows how to block a punch with the shoulder. I mean, this guy is an intelligent fighter in that ring.
You know, he is, and yet there have been times when I've done James Toney's fights, or I've seen James Toney fight, that he does. He's got all the tools in the bag. He just doesn't always use all the tools. Now, he says he's a different guy, and that's what we'll see tonight.
All right, vehicles in, step out.
He's determined to not only win the fight, but to knock Robinson out. You heard him tell that to Sean O'Grady earlier tonight.
Jason Robinson is a former kickboxer, a three-time kickboxing champion. Says he was able to make the transition pretty good. He got tagged with a good short right hand from James Toney there.
And Sean O'Grady, you don't often see, very frankly, kickboxers translate into good fighters.
No, it's because they don't plant their feet. What they try to do with Robinson is try to make him settle down more, dig those feet into the canvas. If you're trying to kick 6 kicks around, you're not really going to plant your feet. With his feet planted, he can punch a bit harder.
He's trying to work the jab. It's not a powerful jab.
Fighting from that southpaw stance, and I tell you, that has been amusing to any fighter in boxing. You jab with the right hand, your cross is a left cross, and you're throwing a right hook. The punches come at you from different angles. Although James Toney, you guys talked about it, you alluded to it in the last conversation about how he has been around the block. He knows what he's doing inside the ring. He probably has been his own worst enemy in the sport of boxing. You talked about his lackluster performances. Sometimes he falls asleep in these fights, and hopefully he doesn't do that here.
Well, he says he's a different guy. You saw him switch up for a moment. He went southpaw for just a moment there.
Yeah, I think he was hearing me talking about how confusing that is.
Yeah.
I think he's doing a good job of body punching here, getting within range.
Don't get in a hurry. You know what? You're a professional. Let's see what your opponent has. Take your time. You got 12 to deal with.
End of the first round. Feeling that round.
Okay, champ. I told you this is your Huckleberry. Didn't I tell you this? Now listen. You're a little bit short
There's
with your
Jason
jab.
Robinson, who we talked about his discipline. He loves to train. Gym rat. He gets always in good shape. Not much of a puncher, although he scored 10 KOs in his 16 victories, and as we mentioned, former 3-time professional kickboxing champion. Loves the challenge of orthodox boxing, however. Across the way, Freddie Roach giving the instructions to James Toney, and I think we always know that the condition and determination as far as James are concerned are a factor, and he seems to be in good shape for this one. You can't ever argue with his opponent list, and he always wanted the toughest guys out there too. And he says, I'm old school. Studied films, he knows all those tricks.
Yeah, he talks about Archie Moore. He talks about Sugar Ray Robinson as guys he likes to emulate.
Izzard Charles.
one of the two predominant super middleweights of the mid-90s. The other was Roy Jones. And I tell you, even though those two fought, James Toney became a better fighter. This is a kid in Toney who was a dead-end kid, street kid. He found a direction in boxing, and he just got enamored by the sport. He spent time reading articles. He spent time watching the tapes, watching fights, learning as much as he could about the sport of boxing. It really works.
Went left-handed again for a moment. He took a shot from Robinson.
Jason Robinson seemed very calm about the whole thing. There were some words exchanged at the press conference this week between the two, but basically inspired by some comments from Robinson's manager, Arnie Rosenthal, about Toney being old and that his legacy is old. But and Toney came in looking strongly for Robinson at the press conference, and Arnie Rosenthal. But Robinson himself, he's very quiet. Doesn't say much, but he admitted to me, he says, I'm real excited about this, and I'm very anxious. This was yesterday at the weigh-in. I'm very anxious to get in that ring.
Real nice young man. In fact, Arnie Rosenthal, quick to point out, he said the quiet kids are the ones you have to be concerned with. Jason Robinson.
Toney looking to load up with that right hand now against the southpaw, come right down the middle.
And there it is.
It was a little short, though.
Southpaws are vulnerable to that punch. A real straight right hand down the pike and a real wide left hook. The way they stand their positioning, they're vulnerable to that.
Toney is one of the great practitioners of the art of blocking a punch with the shoulder and coming right back with the right cross immediately after that. So he'll try to take that jab if he can in that fashion and come back with the right cross right down the middle.
This is experience talking. I mean, James Toney, he's been in there with everyone. He knows how to roll a punch. Sometimes it's easier. You don't use as much energy to take the punch and then counter with your own, which is something that he does quite well that you're alluding to. For Robinson, he's got to be on his speed. First thing any aging fighter loses is his speed. Speed going, and then everything else kind of falls in place. Work that jab.
Now he switches up again, goes lefty.
Don't be afraid to hit James Toney with an uppercut. The way he leans over, he bends at the waist. He is vulnerable to that shot, but you got to throw it.
Every time he goes lefty, that is, Toney goes lefty, Robinson tags him.
Robinson's got very nice, he's very rangy, using the ring well.
Yeah, he's keeping Toney off him pretty well.
You can see the concentration, a little upset that he missed an opening there. Robinson frowning, really concentrating.
Coming to the end of round number 2.
Well, we'll pick up the action in round number 3. Toney beginning to time the punches of Jason Robinson at this point. We talked about how he would turn his shoulder, come up with that counter right. There it was again, the counter right that he was landing all night long.
You saw two very competitive rounds with Jason Robinson and James Lights Out Toney. Rounds 3 and 4 also competitive, but it seemed as though by the end of round 4 that Toney was beginning to crank it into gear and beginning to land the bigger punches. And the biggest punches were yet to come. Let's pick up the action now with round 5.
We told you before about how James Toney is the great practitioner, turning the shoulder and the right hand follow, the counter. That's what we described for you earlier, and you just saw the prime example of it.
And then there was another one right after that, too. Robinson actually didn't take a backward step, but his corner was all over him for standing in front. Now, I tell you, I still gave that round to Robinson, even though I know the judges won't.
Well, he had fought a tremendous round until then. I think Jason Robinson clearly won the first 2 minutes and 50 seconds of the round. But that was the best single punch of the fight. That was a hard smashing right by James Toney. So whether or not it won the round for him, it did some damage. James is so cute in there, I'm telling you. You just saw that move we talked about, a turning of the shoulder and coming right back with the counter right. I don't know that anybody's done it better really in the last 10 years than James Toney.
He's very crafty. Robinson is letting Toney into his punching range more now.
that'll be disastrous for him. He needs to keep him out on the end of his punches, just like that.
See, now I don't think you can be right here if you're Robinson. Right hand.
Tony's looking for that counter right.
Missed an uppercut.
Robinson looks just a tad little hesitant this round after eating that right hand in the last round. Trying to get that jab to work to good effect.
Left hand by Robinson in close quarters. Right hand by Tony, not quite as solid as the others.
Whoa, 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 let him out, let him out. Stop punching, whoa, stop, step, break.
Again, Tony giving him a lot of different angles, but not a bad round for Robinson again. And there's a right hand, and that is going to drop Robinson. Just like that. That caught him right on the chin.
5, 6, 7, 8. Let me dust off the gloves. Watch to me. Come here. Time.
Well, it came right at the end of the round again. 2 rounds in a row.
We told you he was loading up with the right hand, that he's been looking for the right hand. He'd found it several times in the round before that. And then the tremendous booming shot by James Lights Out Tony, and it was almost lights out for Jason Robinson there.
Knockdown.
Robinson had fought a nice round. There you see the right hand back into the ropes. Tony senses the man's predicament immediately. Pat Russell, good job of refereeing, got Tony out of the way immediately. Oh, there it is, a beautiful counter right. It's what we've been talking about the whole fight. Tony looking for it and finally found it in the big way.
Round 6.
There's the punch, the lead by Robinson, the counter right from Tony.
Mouthpiece in,
the follow-up shot, and then good refereeing by Pat Russell to get between them.
Round 6,
now
I need a big wipe
Robinson
in that corner. I
deep
need all that
trouble
water
here.
gone.
Still doesn't seem 100% back yet, Robinson. And Tony comes right after. Hits him with a right hand and another right hand. Tony being aggressive in this round, not waiting. Oh, big right hand.
I tell you, this is a one-punch fight in terms of how Tony can win it with the counter rights. He's destroying Jason Robinson with right hands. He's found the man's weakness, exposed it. Look at him turn his shoulder. He's ready to launch that right hand again.
I'm just waiting on it. You can just see it. Working the jab. Going to be a little more hesitant with that left hand, Will Robinson.
I'm looking at his legs. They're not all there, Barry.
Slapping right hand that time by Tony.
I wonder why Robinson let up there. He had Tony backing up for a second, then he just backed off.
Good idea for Robinson to stay away from Tony in this round.
Probably be a good idea to stay away for 12 rounds.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Also, Robinson seems to be pushing his punches a little bit more in this round. Sean O'Grady?
Oh, experience is a great teacher, huh? See what James Toney did? He took Jason Robinson out to the deep water and then he drowned him. What he did is he took Jason Robinson's punches early. He rolled his shoulders, he turned, he timed it properly, took his time, and then when the window was open, he really scored. The window was open, now it's closed again, but when it was open, he was really trying to go for the KO. Guys?
He's still kind of playing coy here, is Tony. Shake his knees, an old trick that Sugar Ray Leonard used to do.
but he hasn't really gone for the gusto in this round. And Robinson has done a nice job, at least to this point.
Tony just having all his own way. That was just kind of playing with Robinson this round. Cat with a mouse.
Still turning left-handed at times there, Barry. You said most of the time in the early going really was not an effective move for him, but he does it just to show him different looks.
Exactly. He's a pro. There's no question about it.
Time, no punching. Go back to your corner.
Welcome back, round number 7 now, and all of a sudden Tony is just controlling everything in this fight.
Clean up my corner, first team.
Well, Robinson bounced back pretty good in that last round. I really didn't think the way the previous round ended that he'd be able to make it through another round.
I didn't either. I just thought that Tony kind of played with him a little bit in that round.
But that may have cost Tony the round. But he seems a little more intent on business here in round 7.
Let's go back into the corner now of Jason Robinson. Sean O'Grady is back to Arnie Rosenthal. Sean?
Thanks, guys. Arnie, in the 5th round, Jason down on the canvas. He came out, had a better 6th round than obviously the 5th. What did you do to keep him going in this fight?
He's got a great
Focus?
I mean, the focus is there, like I said from before.
Yeah.
But he's got the heart of a lion right now, and he's starting to come back here. But he lost that focus for that split second, and Tony fought 10 seconds of that round, and that was the 10 seconds he caught him in.
The window of opportunity was open, and Tony really tried to go for it.
That's why he's James Tony. So,
How is his response between rounds? How does he sing?
fine.
Seems like he's in this fight.
Absolutely.
What do you try to do to him at this point? What do you try to get him to do?
Get back on the game plan that won the first 4 rounds for him.
Which is?
Stick and move to your right, and not drop your left hand like that.
All right, I think he heard that. Jason Robin, they don't want him dropping his hands. You got to remain focused, guys.
And he still is dropping his hand a little bit.
Punches in front.
He just seems to have no defense for the counter right of Tony.
And Tony not throwing it a lot, but when he does, it's with intent.
Tony's left hand has not been real effective in this fight.
No, and he's throwing it more now. It's almost like, let me just see if I can get this working.
I think Tony has gone back more to the gradually break down his opponent role in this round.
Oh, there's a right hand from Robinson that rocked Tony. I think Tony just got a little too cute. I don't believe Tony is hurt. And there's a left hand, and that drops Robinson.
As soon as he got back to business, Barry, as soon as James Tony got back to business, I believe this fight is over.
It is. Well, there's a wake-up call.
He wanted to look sensational tonight. He wanted to look spectacular. It may not have been spectacular for 3 minutes of every round, but without question, that is one spectacular finish.
Well, and he's just a pro. I mean, there's no question about it. It looked like he could do what he wanted when he wanted. You were saying earlier that round the left hand wasn't working too well. Well, guess what?
That's what he ended it with, baby.
And when he got rocked by a right hand by Robinson, you just knew he wasn't hurt. He just didn't look hurt. And it took about 20 seconds to finish the job.
Just a quick little wake-up call. You know, you don't have to be that cute, James, all the time. Get your mind back on business, which is what he did. He flashed before that final finishing left hook. He flashed a couple of really strong punches that set it up. And then, like the pro that he is, he finished them off. All right. Well, we'll pick up the action in round number 3. Tony beginning to time the punches of Jason Robinson at this point. We talked about how he would turn his shoulder, come up with that counter right. There it was again, the counter right that he was landing all night long. So a little bit of a left. Now watch, you're going to see the right hand, and that sent Jason Robinson back into the ropes and then knocked down with the follow-up right. This was at the end of round 5. The bell rang, and that basically saved him. But it saved him for this, a tremendous left hook. And you talk about lights out. See ya. That spells KO.
Once again, James Lights Out Tony proves to be a professor in the ring, a surgeon at work, dissecting his opponent bit by bit. The impressive victory and the sensational knockout for James Lights Out Tony over Jason Robinson had the desired result. It landed another world title opportunity for James against Vasily Zhirov, and Tony took the Cruiserweight Championship from Zhirov by decision. I'm Rich Marotta. Hope you enjoyed the bout. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join us again here on FSN for Nothing But Knockouts.